So what's up guys, my name is EcLiiPseHD and welcome to another video I made. This video is going to be about World of Warcraft, Paladin, Retribution, PvE guide. I thought I would like to make this guide because I play WoW so now and then and I like it. Lately I played a lot. Paladin was the first character I made ever when I started playing World of Warcraft. So I thought, why not make a guide? I think I know a lot about it and I would like to share that information with you guys, so let's go. The first things I want to go through with is the stat priority you need, which is going to help you play smoother, better and consistently. The reason why I do that is because it's going to make you understand the class a little bit more. Take notes, this is just a personal guide. This is how I like to play Paladin and this is how I always had played Paladin. Every time. So in the stat priority, I would say strength is going to be the main thing you need to spec. So every time you see something with strength, it's going to be on most pieces of the gear and trinkets, but I'm just saying it, strength is the thing you need. It's going to be your main DPS output. It's the raw damage you're going to build on with the other stats that comes along. The second thing is what I try to stack as much as possible. And the second one is always something people argument with, because there are going to be different types of it. I go with haste. It's going to make your rotation more possible and simplified. In a way of you are not going to stand there and wait till your cooldowns are over with haste. Haste is going to make you able to keep rotating, because it's going to lower the cooldowns on your main skills that build up holy power. That makes you able to do those hard-hitting attacks. For the third one, I would say you can choose between or mix it with crit, versatility, and mastery. It's your own preference, which you would like to. I personally go a little bit with crit and versatility, because versatility is going to do the same thing as mastery, but mastery is going to give you more pure holy power damage, and versatility is going to give you some raw damage and a little bit defense slash healing. It makes you be tanky a little bit, but that's how I play it. So I go for first strength, second haste, third crit together with versatility. That's what I do, and if there is some mastery in there, it doesn't really matter. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the rotation you use in fights. The main thing I use, and I also have a little bit from Icy Veins, a guide for Paladins and for PvP. I took some information from there, so if you really want to check it out yourself, I'm going to put the description. I'm going to put the link in the description if you want to have a good view on what I'm trying to say here. But I took most information from Icy Veins and some personal preferences in this video. So the first thing I always start off with is if I'm running towards enemies, I'm going to start off with Judgment and the, what is it called? Blade of Justice, I forgot. Because these are ranged, it's going to help you a little bit building up some DPS and holding power while you're running towards an enemy. And then I use Templar's Verdict because I already have 3 holy spenders, I mean 3 holy powers. After that I go Wake of Ashes, and continuing my Templar's Verdict, filling up the remaining holy power with Crusader Strike, so on. That's all I do, and I most of the time try to use a holy spender after I used a Judgment, because this Judgment had a special effect that increases 25% of the damage taken of your next holy ability, which gives you a little bit of boost of damage. Also, some other cool things to know about Paladin is it can be really supportive for your team and for yourself as well. Talking about these buffs right here, you get a greater Blessing of Kings, and a greater blessing of wisdom. For the kings, I most of the time use on myself or on the tank because it's gonna absorb some damage every 6 seconds, so you could help him a little bit, taking some damage. Sometimes it helps. I mean, sometimes you don't even notice because the tank is too strong. But I would say it's just awesome to help other people out. And for the other one, the greater blessing of wisdom, I use that on someone that is using mana to DPS, like arcane mages use insanely a lot of mana. I use it on them or the healer if it's not a mage that uses arcane. Healers really use that a lot because it restores literally 1% of their maximum health and mana every 10 seconds, and that mana is really useful. After like 1 minute, you let them gain 6% of their total HP and mana. So please use that because people are gonna love you for that. Other things that could be really useful for yourself is some skills like Lay of Hands. If you're low HP, you see your screen, it's like red flashing. Then you can use Lay of Hands to bring you back to full HP. Also, what's also useful is the Shield of Vengeance, which gives you some observation amount, and when it expires, it explodes and does AoE damage. It's really useful for just a little bit extra tanking if you have aggro or you're in trouble. Really useful as well. The other thing I use a lot is Divine Shield. When you don't have anything left anymore, I use Divine Shield, which absorbs everything, like literally everything. And it also helps you from not taking fall damage, which I think is amazing. Oh. See? That's really useful as well. Use those things because they are pretty good tools that you have in your arsenal to use. For the talents, I'm gonna go over all tiers, all the things here, what they do and where they combine with, which makes a better combination, stuff like that. For PvE, I use Zeal. Makes your 3 auto attacks 30% faster and do an additional holy damage. And it's gonna help you proc Blade of Red more consistently, because that one can be triggered when you do auto attacks or Crusader Strike. That's why I use Zeal. Righteous Verdict, I used to use that a lot because this is just a really strong single target burst when you can proc and do multiple Templar's Verdict at the same in a row, for example, because it will give you a 50% boost that makes it really strong and hard hitting. Execution Sentence, it's also a really strong single target burst. It sadly costs 3 holy powers, so that fucks you a little bit up because you can't use Templar's Verdict right after, or you need to combine it with Wake of Ashes, which will come later on. But this one is mostly used in PvP that I see, but it also works for PvE. It just depends what you like to use. I would go for Zeal because it works perfectly with Blade of Red, where I come to now. So at this tier, it's a little bit personal as well. If you like to use more Crusader Strikes to proc this off, then you can pick Fires of Justice. It reduces the cooldown of Crusader Strike by 15%, and it grants it a 50% chance to make your next ability consume 1 less holy power. So it literally does what it says, it just depends on what you like to use. I go for Blade of Red because Art of War is really strong, it hits hard, gives you 2 holy powers, and it builds up really fast your holy powers to go for Templar's Verdict or Divine Storm. Depends on AoE or single target damage. Hammer of Red, well, I don't really use that much because you only can use it on targets that has 20% less HP, below 20% less HP, what the fuck am I talking about? 20% HP, like less than that. Or you need to be in Avenging Red, that makes you able to cast it any time. It only has a 7-second cooldown, so it's really useful. It also gets affected by your haste, but my preference is Blade of Red. On the third one, this is totally up to you what you think is for you the best. This one just makes someone standing still for 1 minute. It's like a really good CC in PvE and PvP as well. Works as well, but take note, it's only usable against humanoid demons, undead, dragonkin, and giants. Fist of Justice is just making your stun reduced really fast if you use Holy Spenders, and it just makes you able to stun people or PvE mobs pretty fast in a row. I go for Blinding Light. It's just, for example, if you go in an AoE fight and you need to interrupt multiple targets, I use Blinding Light to just flick them a little bit so they just interrupted everything, and then someone else can take it over for me then. That's what I use to CC. On the next one, this is going to be your AoE part here. So Divine Judgment is for each enemy hit by an ability that consumes holy power, increase the damage of your next judgment by 20%. It's going to stack 15 times, so your judgment is going to hit really hard. This is the only one that's not to doesn't have the purpose for AoE, but it does make you really strong in a PvE single target or PvE PvP, doesn't matter. Single target, this is really strong. Personally, I don't think it's really that good because there are two other things that are really good to choose from. Consecration, we all know that you just place shit on the ground and it's gonna do damage over time. It's only gonna do like 5.6 gauge holy power, holy damage over 6 seconds, so it's really good, but the only thing is it's a 20-second cooldown and it only generates 1 holy power. I don't think that's really, how do you say that, legit. I think Wake of Ashes is the better choice. You just do an insane big damage. You can hit 20k, 25k with it if you are in Avenging Wrath. It gives you instantly 5 holy power and also stuns undead and demons. So this one is definitely the way to go. It's really good to start off a fight. And I've always played with this one. It works perfectly. The 5th tier, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5th tree. It's a little bit personal. I go for mobility. I think Unbreakable Spirit is more for PvP, so you can get the Divine Shield up faster, your Lay of Hands faster, and your Shield of Vengeance a little bit faster up. So I think Cavalier is a good choice for PvE, since this is a PvE guy. I would go for this. More mobility, you can get to the fight faster. The only thing, yeah, Divine Steed just has an insanely long cooldown. It's just sad. But you have to pick something, so I would go for this. Eye for an Eye. I think you could use this for PvE solo content. Other than that, I think it's more for PvP. Yeah, I think that's the only information you can give. It's just reflecting damage. For the 6th tier, I use this one because I was solo PvEing. This one, you need to have 5 holy power for that. It does quite a lot of damage. Less damage than Templar's Verdict, but it heals you the amount you deal damage with. And if you stun the target first, you get a 50% damage boost. So I use this for solo PvE content, but you can also use this, so every time you spend this, it reduces the cast time for the next Flash of Light. And when you stack it up 4 times, it's really fast, trust me. That's also something you could use. Same for Word of Glory. This is something more like PvP-ish, I think. But it also could be situational for PvE content, like if you need to heal someone really fast and you have a few holy power left, you can instantly heal 2 people pretty close for 28k. That's quite a lot. Has 2 charges, but 1 minute recharge time. So I think this is the better option to go with. For the last one, this is Divine Purpose is just pure RNG. Pure RNG. If you like to have some RNG in your life, take this, but take note, if it's not gonna proc, you're gonna have some DPS loss. That's for sure. But if it's in your favor, you're gonna have an insane DPS. Insane. Sometimes you proc it in a row and after each other. It's just stupid how strong this can be if you are a little bit lucky. That's why I picked it. I feel lucky always, but sometimes it goes the other way. Crusade. This is something that you use. It's gonna replace Avenging Rat, so that's the sad part. But it's gonna give you an insane strong buff that makes you able to stack it 10 times, so you get 30% haste and a lot of damage. Also 30% damage, and it does insanely damage. It's huge ass burst, but it's inconsistent, so I wouldn't use this for long fights. But for short fights, this is insane. You can burst something really fast and you're gonna be on top of the DPS for all the time. Inquisition is more of the consistent DPS. It's gonna make you strong. You have to consume some holy powers now and then for it, but it makes you consistent DPSing. It's gonna up your haste and your damage done all the time. So this is pretty much a buff you need to keep up all the time during a fight, but it keeps you on a consistent DPS, which I like a lot, but I still go for the random shit, you know what I'm saying? So last thing to add before I'm gonna end this video, in the rotation that I told you could be used with Avenging Rat as well. You just pop the Avenging Rat right after you get your first 3 holy powers, so you can start off instantly with a Templar's Verdict, and then you just keep going on with the same rotation in Avengers Rat, and you will see some miracles, man. Once again, this is my way of playing Paladin. This is how I like to play it a lot. That's how I've been playing it all the time, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Leave a comment below, a like, subscribe to me, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.